Kayla, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It's nice to see you.
You too. It's been a long time.
It's been some time. So I'm glad you could take the time to come up, sit down, hang out.
Yes.
And talk cosmetology to this guy specifically. Sorry, users, if you don't like it, but I'm interested as shit about this. All right.
You set the bar too high because I have to find things to talk about.
You'll be fine. Trust me, I've got a whole bunch of questions rattling around in my brain because I don't know nothing about your industry. Like, besides, hey, somebody dyed their hair, or somebody cut their hair, or whatever. How does it all even work? So you're going to help me with that today.
You got it.
So you started, talk to me about that. You had to go to school to be...
Yes. So every state is different for their requirements, which, of course, to make more money and make it difficult for everyone. It's not like you're doing surgery, but to do hair. So Illinois is 1,500 hours. So I was 21, I think. 20 or 21 when I started, and now I'm almost 34. So it's been a while, but it's 1,500 hours here, and it took me about a year and a half to finish school.
Because you didn't go to school full time, correct?
I started full time and then I started working more, so then I had to cut back to part time. But I think the soonest you can do it is 8 months, and then you could, as long as it takes you, I think it's like 2.5 is the longest it could take you.
2.5 years.
Yes.
So you got to kind of stick with it. You can't just.
Yeah,
so is it like an online thing, or do you actually go to class?
No, I don't know now. I'm sure during COVID they had like something. I don't know exactly, but I feel like everywhere had something for online, but it's all hands-on, so you can't really do it online, and you have to have people come in and so many sign-offs and practice enough before they throw you into the wild.
Which makes sense. That's what you're going to school for. You're doing it because it's all hands-on. It's literally...
And when I was in school, my sister, she went 8 years before I did, and she's like, if you get through beauty school, that's half the battle. And I'm like... why do you say that? And then when I was at like 900 hours, I was like, I get it. Because you just want to quit. You want to be done. You're doing all these haircuts and colors and dealing with all these people and then not getting paid for it. And it's like,
so did you have to work with somebody then outside of the school to do this?
No. So you do it all in school. You have like classroom hours where you learn, like you have a book and you have to learn all that. And it goes from hair, skin, and nails. And then, I had an anatomy course. I had to learn like muscles and diseases. And it's way more than just like pick up your scissors and cut straight.
See, I'm learning all this because I didn't know.
And then color is all chemicals. So you have to know what goes with what and the color wheel. And yeah, we're not just all dumb hairstylists.
So it took you a year and a half to finish that, give or take.
Yes.
And then, so now you got your license.
Yes. So then you have to, after you finish everything at school, then you have to, and it's like I said, you have to pass all the tests that they have, so many sign-offs for like each category, so like cuts, colors, perms, things that you don't even do anymore, but you had to learn it then. And then after you finish everything there, then you go and take a state test. And of course pay. And then you have to pay again for your license.
Imagine that.
Yes.
Thanks, Illinois.
Right.
You
have to renew every 2 years.
I was just going to say, so after you get this license, I'm sure it's not a license for, hey, as long as you live in Illinois,
No.
it's good for life.
You have to renew every 2 years, get continuing education hours every 2 years. And if you lose it, I've never lost mine, but I've heard that you have to like start over.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a CDL in Illinois.
Yeah,
it's the
so
same
like when
thing.
I moved, I never got rid of my Illinois one because I've heard it's such a pain in the ass to get it back. And I'm like, I'm not going back to school.
No.
I've done it.
Yeah, well, like Illinois with their CDL right now, there's only two ways to get a CDL, and it's either you take a course, which of course I think that course is like $5,000, and
Is it that much money?
Yeah, and it's a full month. So
Okay.
you have to take off of work. You are there for a full month.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's way different than when.
Oh, they just changed this law a year and a half ago.
Okay, because I was gonna say my ex had a CDL, and it was so easy for his to get it in Arizona because it just like transferred over. But
So an Illinois CDL will transfer over to any other state.
Of course.
But any other state will not transfer over. You have to go through the
Illinois.
whole thing again. So like
that was like my brother. He went to school for education, and he went to school in Iowa. So then it was like harder to get his Illinois one, but he did it. So
yeah, I my last guest here got out of the got out of boot camp and stuff. He's going to be military police, and he told me that in Illinois you still got to go through the training and everything. In Wisconsin, you don't need to.
Right.
You can get right in if they hire you. And it's like, what's going on, Illinois?
Right. So I was very aware that like when I moved, I didn't want to transfer it. I wanted to obtain
a new one.
Yes. Because I'm like, even if I was still out there, I was still coming back every few months. And whenever I was back, people would be like, hey, can you do my hair? And I'd have to buy things that, you have to be licensed to buy at certain stores. And so I'm like, I'm not getting rid of this ever. Because my family and friends are all here and they're always going to want me to do their hair.
Everybody needs a haircut.
Yep.
Or.
And I'm like, and I'm not taking the chance of not being able to buy things or fly with it and whatever.
Before you know it, you're going to be pulled over when you're flying.
Right.
They're going to be like, what are all these chemicals? I
Right.
swear, I'm not a terrorist.
Chemicals and shears and clippers and
Oh, that would be a night. It'd be funny, but it'd be a nightmare, I think.
it would not be funny.
Well, it'd be funny if it wasn't me.
It would be funny for your podcast to tell the story, but not when it was happening at an airport.
Probably not. So you graduated. You did your testing. Obviously, you passed your testing.
Yeah.
You got your license. What's the next step then at that point?
Finding a job. And when I first was done, I mean, there's so many different routes you can take. There's some like high-end salons that you like intern at, or you're just like an assistant. And I didn't want to do that just because, I don't know, I didn't want to. So I started at the very bottom at a chain, salon and got the experience in, and I was whipping out 20 haircuts a day and hating life, but got more comfortable and got my timing down. And then I went to a nicer one. And because I had like a year of experience, I didn't have to start way at the bottom. Like I was the new girl for a long time, but I wasn't an assistant.
Because you had the experience of going to school?
Working at a salon. Yeah.
So you were working at a salon while going to school?
No, this was after I graduated.
Okay, so yeah, I got it now. Sorry. My brain's getting fluffy here. So you started at the very bottom for a year and a half or whatever,
right.
And then worked
my way up. And then, and actually I was at the nicer salon, but it was commission based. And so it was, it's just there's so many different types, hourly, commission, you rent. And then my mom got sick. So my sister and I worked at the same salon where we rented the chair and then we could make our own schedule. So I jumped into that way sooner than I thought I was going to, but it ended up working well.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that. Because we had this conversation off camera because I didn't know exactly how it all worked. So you rent a chair in a salon.
Yes. So there's so many different ways to do it. So like a lot of the chain places now, from my understanding, are still hourly based, which is, again, great because you're just whipping out clients and it's cheaper haircuts, cheaper everything, and you get good experience, but you're working for minimum wage or whatever it is. And then other places are commission, which a lot of salons are getting away from that now. And renting a chair or renting a suite, you pretty much just like lease out the space and you're working under their name, but it's still just on you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. So you're renting. So it's your customers though, right?
Yeah, and where I'm at currently, they help like advertise and like on their scheduling system, I'm in their book, so they can schedule for me. I can just adjust it if needed. So that's nice because it helps foot traffic for them, and then it also helps me build my clientele.
I was gonna say, because if it's your customers, that probably is pretty tough trying to go out. If it's their name but it's your chair, you probably need to bring in your own customers in order for you to make money.
Yeah, to an extent. Like I advertise myself and promote myself, especially after moving for 2 years and then I lost everybody. And then, been doing it for almost 12 years, but it was like I started over because I had to be like, hey, I'm moving. Now I'm like, hey, I'm back. Do you want to leave your current hairstylist?
Been there before.
Right.
Not in a hairstylist way, but I've done that.
Yeah, where it's like you leave and then and I would never get mad at somebody for going somewhere else or, not waiting for me for 2 years, but all you can do is try.
Yeah, I had a similar situation when I was working for the ag dealership, and I left the ag dealership to take a job, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. This is what I want. This is something that I'm really interested in doing. Well, that failed after about, I don't know, a year and a half.
And then it's that, oh, shit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was like, God, do I really need to go back
and
there?
I was finally getting my groove in Arizona, and people were like pre-booking and sending their friends. Then I'm like, just kidding. I'm leaving.
And then, so I ended up going back to the dealership, and it was the same thing. It was like, man, I got to get all these people to trust me again that I'm still here,
And people get really personal, I'm sure, with that too. It's like, well, what happened? I thought you were done, and I thought you were moving. And I'm like, yeah, well, here I am.
One of my favorite sayings of all is tell God your plan and watch him laugh, because that guy's rolling over a lot with me, let me tell you.
A friend of mine be like, so what's your life plan? I'm like, it is now to not have a plan and just roll with
the punches.
Yeah, because I'm like, too much shit's happened that I don't have a plan anymore.
Every time I try to plan something, it just backfires
right.
tremendously.
Exactly.
And it's just like, no, Kyle's not planning, and he's just gonna
see how each day goes. Go from there.
Live in the present right now and enjoy everything, and then we'll cross that bridge later on down the road.
Short-term goals are good, but
they are.
Long-term plans don't always work out.
Oh no, at least not with this guy.
Same.
Yeah.
The poster child for that.
My name would be right there on the front.
Yeah.
Picture and all. So where were we? You rented a chair. Yeah. So that's what we were on. They help promote their business, which helps promote technically your business.
It all depends on where you're at. Like, there's a lot of suites now, so it's like 1 or 2 people can rent like a little room, and you're not going to get a lot of help from them because it's like an apartment building,
Okay.
That's just your room and that's it. But where I'm at now, it's a salon, and there's only 4 of us there. But the owner, she's a friend of mine, and she's great, and she's too busy. She has a little kid, and so she's like, take my clients, because I need some time off. And I'm like, send them my way. But we're all really good about, and it's nice to have that, like, everyone says like it's like a family, but it is, because me and one other girl, she sits next to me, and she was having trouble with an updo. So I was like, finish foiling my client and I'll do the updo. And so she did my color and I did her client, and then we switched back right away. And I'm like, it's nice to be able to do that and trust each other and not be like, I don't know if you're going to do the same work that I am. But
so you just used a couple terms there that I have no idea what you're talking about.
I saw it in your face. I'm sorry. Foiling is highlights.
So that's like to get like
the blonde pieces.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know what other word I said.
Something up.
Oh, an updo?
There you go.
So for like weddings, like I did today, like the fancy styles.
Gotcha. Well, since you brought that up, we're gonna jump to that a little bit.
Okay.
How does, like, when you put the bangs and the different colors in there, how does all that even friggin' work? Like, I know you got chemicals and stuff that you use to change the dye of the hair and things like that, but how do you get to like stay in there so when you go take a shower, it's not coming out?
That is partially on me and partially on the client for like what shampoo and conditioner and other things that they're putting into their hair. So there's like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's like if you eat McDonald's versus Whole Foods.
Gotcha.
But for your hair. So if you're using something that like washes it out, ultimately, like don't spend the money on getting your hair done because you need the aftercare for it.
Correct.
But yeah, as far as like the color and everything, then that is a lot of knowledge as far as like what mixes with what. And I've explained this to boyfriends and my ex-husband, and it's like, when he's like, why did it take you so long? I'm like, well, if you have a black piece of paper and you put yellow on it, can you see it? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, then you have to lighten it first. And he's like, oh, that makes sense now. So these people that have like the pink and blue and the crazy colors.
Wonderful. Yeah, because I don't know how.
So if the hair was as dark as mine, you wouldn't be able to see it. So you have to lighten it first and then put those.
So how do you
on.
lighten it?
With bleach.
Oh.
Not like under your sink cleaning bleach,
Correct.
but hair bleach.
Hair bleach.
Yes.
So you put hair bleach in there, and that lightens the color of the hair.
Yep.
So when you want to put your blues and your pinks and your yellows and whatever,
Yeah,
in
or
there,
just even make it a lighter color, then yeah.
so like a dark hair like yours.
Yes.
If you wanted to like go blonde tomorrow,
Oh, that wouldn't happen. Not tomorrow. Yeah, so you would put bleach on it, and then it would be like, it would go to like a lighter brown, and then an orangey, and then a yellowy. And then if it is yellow and you don't want it yellow, use a toner to, it doesn't change like the darkness of it, but it'll change like the tone. So if I want it blonde without yellow, you put a toner on it.
way above my pay grade.
I'm so excited that you're interested in this because
It just
so many people don't ask these questions.
it makes my mind go nuts because I don't know how it works, right? So, and if I don't know how something works, I like to understand how
But
it
again,
works.
stupid hairstylist, but we actually know
Yeah,
more things.
y'all
a
are
little
pretty
bit.
smart.
I know. We got a little bit in there that nobody knows about.
That's not why I was laughing. Just yeah. Shoot, I had a question on my mind I was going to ask you, and I forgot what it was now. But so, when you like today, this morning before you got here, you did hair for a wedding.
Yes. So I had 9 people, including the bride, that I did their special occasion or updos for.
And do you like doing those?
I always say that I like the most pain in the ass things, which is a flaw and a quality of mine because, I mean, nobody else at the salon that I work at, they don't do updos, and they're like, screw that, I learned it in beauty school and I hate it. And I'm like, oh, I love it. But I love it because, one, I'm good at them and I like to do the braids and, I don't know, I'm artsy, so it's like, it's a canvas for you. And then you go and you make decent money and then you're done for the day. I don't have to go back to the salon. I don't have to do anything else. I'm done. My job's done. So
That's pretty nice then.
yeah.
That's pretty nice because you can go in there.
And I always feel guilty because I've had so many clients be like, stay for the wedding. And I'm like, that is the worst thing because I don't want to work all morning, go home, get ready, and come back and be like, because then everyone's like, can you fix this piece? And I'm like, no, I'm not working now.
no offense, but I already did my job.
Right. I did my job. I'm done.
Do they come in and be like, hey, this is the hairstyle that I want?
Like,
and
Pinterest is a wonderful and horrible thing because you want someone to have an idea, but then how realistic? Like, if their hair's dark and it's a picture of a blonde, it's not going to look the same in their eyes. And I've had people do that with haircuts, and I, like, cover the face. And I'm like, do you still like the haircut, or do you like her face? And they're like, oh, I guess I don't like the haircut. I'm like, okay.
so the funny thing is you've been doing this long enough to understand that.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, my sister did it like way before I did, and so she would tell me that, and she'd be like, it's not always realistic. And for updos and weddings and things like that, people will be like, there's this big braid and whatever, and I'm like, you have this much hair, like it's not going to look like that. They'll be like, but I want it, and then I'll do it, and they're like, well, that doesn't look the same. I'm like, I know, but I'm working with what I have. Like, I can't make you grow more hair in 5 minutes.
Extensions, right?
Yeah, but I don't have like a backup of all of those on hand for every color and every length and everything when I'm going for people's weddings.
I'm pretty colorblind, so I'm going to ask this question just for: is there like an insane amount of different colored hair, or is natural hair, or is it pretty common?
So there's a wide variety, and again, from experience, like someone can send me a picture of what they want and then what they have, and I don't have to do like a consultation. Because that was a big thing when I first started, like have somebody come in first, and so you can talk about it and color match and do this and that. And because I've done this for almost 12 years. It's like, okay, I can get a feel for it and whatever. But the way it works is there's 10 levels, and that is like lightness to darkness. And it goes from 1 to 10, 10 being the darkest, or 1 being the darkest and 10 being the lightest. And then there's tones in between.
Oh, God.
And it can go from like, yeah, I know you're already like, screw that amount. But, and I mean, you think like red.
Yeah, I just think red.
Yeah, no, there's like
red,
purple, red, just red gold, red copper, red brown. Like it's not just red.
Well, right. It's like crayons, right? They got all these different colored, and the crayons. Hair is similar to that.
Right. People think it's the 8-pack of crayons when really it's the 52-pack of crayons.
Yes.
Yes. And then you can mix and match, but you have to know how much of which one to mix. And,
yeah. But you learned all that. I mean,
you learn the basics in school, and then you really do, like, you need those basics. I'm not saying, like, school was pointless, but you really get, like, your confidence and experience and more of your knowledge from, like, just doing it. So people that are like, I went to beauty school 20 years ago, and I'm like, well, have you done anything with it since then?
Agreed.
And that's why they make you take those classes every 2 years to refresh and learn new things, and there's always new techniques. And
is that a long class that you got to take every year?
You have to do 14 hours every 2 years.
Oh, that's not bad.
And you can pick what you do. I mean, now you have to take like a sexual harassment class.
Everybody's got to take that.
The state of Illinois. And then domestic violence was added.
Oh, really?
Yes, because we are also therapists.
That's true.
So you have to know how to handle when somebody, you're not liable, but you have resources that they teach you if like somebody comes to you and tells you things.
Yeah, that's
Which was actually a scary class because I'm like, oh my God, like I felt like I was more liable because you do, I mean, and I have bartended a lot while doing hair, which is, so I'm a therapist to sober and drunk people. And, you know, like you get a lot of information that you don't ask for and that you don't necessarily want. But then when it's bad, like, I mean.
Yeah, what do you do?
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
Thankfully, I've never had a situation where somebody's like.
And hopefully you don't.
You know, I was abused or this happened. Like, it was never anything like that.
What's with the black eye today?
Right. Yeah. And then feel like I have to call the cops or have to call this 800 number. Like, I haven't had to do that.
I hope you don't either.
Yeah, I hope not. But
I hope no one has to do that.
I mean, there are plenty of situations where I wish I never heard some of the things, but.
Yeah, it's funny. When you sit down and you're getting your hair cut, it's just
comfortable,
it's just
apparently.
Comfortable. I mean, think about it. They're playing with your hair.
Right, and then the secrets just fly. And I'm like.
Oof, I don't know about secrets, but.
I always ask, like, does it say tell me everything on my forehead? Because I'm like, oh, I didn't need to know that.
You should wear a shirt someday that says that. Tell me everything.
No, don't tell me anything is what I wanted to say.
Just jokes.
Like, me and my sister and a couple of my friends that do hair, we said that, like, we want a silent day. Like, one day in the salon where it's like, people who don't want to talk, come in that day. And I'm like, or I'd book people who talk too much, and I'd be like, I'm really sorry, but I just don't have it in me today.
When you... Like you said now that you can kind of make your own schedule.
Yes.
So do you like during the week? I mean, obviously everybody's got jobs and things like that. Do you usually work more like in the mornings, in the evenings, weekends?
I split it up. So I'm technically my schedule's open like Tuesday through Saturday. But I mean, today I did on-site wedding hair. So like I wasn't at the salon. So I just like blocked it off for the day. And then Tuesday, Thursdays, I go in a little bit later, but stay later. And then Wednesdays, Fridays, I go in earlier and leave a little bit earlier. And Saturdays, I'm never there past 2 or 3 because I'm spoiled. But a lot of people don't work Saturdays, so I'll take it.
Well, that was where I was getting at. Like,
but I've also gone in like Sunday mornings when people are like, I can't do it, or I don't have anything open, and I'm trying to get them in. So
yeah, they know it's been 3 months since they seen you last, or a year or
Usually
whatever.
It's like after the gym, and I'm like, this is what you get if I'm coming in on a Sunday, but that's all.
Hey, a haircut's a haircut, in my opinion.
Right. There's a shirt that says, I'm doing your hair, don't worry about mine, because I'm like, that would be perfect for me. I'm not your typical, like, wearing heels and full face of makeup and hair's always done. I'm like, I'm good at what I do, but I don't look the part.
It don't matter as long as you're good at what you do. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. I don't care if people look the part or not. If you're doing the job and you're doing it right,
Right.
I don't care.
I'm gonna go with that then.
I don't care if you're in a 3-piece suit.
If anyone could feel that way, but
Yeah, that's the problem. Nobody thinks like I
Right.
think, which is great. Which is really great. Do you do things other than hair then, or are you strictly?
so
a
I've
salon-
always had. I love what I do, and it's like, again, it's a quality and a flaw because it's a great job and it's a great thing to do. But it's never consistent, and you don't get benefits. Like I don't have a retirement fund or health insurance through that, so that's always like a secondary thing. And I was just doing hair before I moved, but then moving out of state and then coming back and having to rebuild my clientele. So I'm actually bartending right now, and
So you had to. You also had to build your clientele when you moved out of state, then too, right? Because you started in a.
well,
new
and I
state.
knew me and my ex, we didn't know anybody when we moved. It was like I didn't know a single person there, and so we went out there like a month before we actually moved, and I found a salon and everything. And the woman who owned the salon, she told a lot of people like, "Hey, I have a new girl coming in," and tried to give out my number ahead of time, but. Yeah, I didn't know anybody, and so I started. It was like my first day out of beauty school at that point. And then when I came back, I told all my old clients, and a lot of them were like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna come in and see you." But there's a good amount that were like, "I've been seeing someone else for 2 years." I'm like, I get it, and I didn't want to be like the ex that's running back. I'm single again.
You need to come back to me now.
Right. So if they came back, great. If they didn't, that's fine too. And now I'm getting new people.
Exactly. The way that I look at it is if you got customers that leave or whatever circumstances, you're not providing them a service anymore.
Right.
There's always other people that need that service provided.
And there's a hair salon on every corner. Everywhere you look, there's multiple. And
yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that, but when you really start thinking about all the salons that are in the area, it's like, hell, each town's got 10.
Right. And I mean, working in Elgin, like that's a big area. And I'm in downtown Elgin, but just right there, people are like, well, where are you? And I'll say the Crossroads. And they're like, well, there's one there and there's one there. And just like this little corner. And I'm like, oh no, we're the one on this side. So
you don't do anything more than hair? I mean, like with nails or anything like that?
No, I learned. But it's weird because like you learn hair, skin, and nails, but I'm not an esthetician, which is like who does facials, and I'm not a massage therapist, but I learned how to do that, or a nail tech. So I learned how to do like eyelash extensions, if that means anything to you.
Oh yeah.
But that freaked me out, and I didn't stick with it. So.
Don't like touching other people's eyeballs?
It was too many chemicals too close to someone's eyes. But actually, what I would get into is there's like permanent makeup, which is tattooing, and I would totally learn how to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about what's
lipstick, eyebrows, which again, eyeliner, it's chemicals by somebody's eye, but like that's a little bit different. But again, I'm an art nerd and whatever, so I like that kind of stuff. But that would be more schooling that I haven't committed to yet.
So it's like actual tattooing then?
Yeah, like you got a tattoo gun and you learn how to do it, and I know, but it would just be another. But again, I love all these things that I'm like, oh, there's no retirement fund, there is no insurance in that, but
hence why you're also bartending.
Right, trying to make money other places.
Yeah. I think everybody's trying to do that, especially in today's world.
Yeah, everything's very expensive.
Super expensive.
I mean, I almost feel guilty like charging people what I do for hair, but I have to think of the cost for me. But the last 5 years, everything's at least doubled.
No kidding.
And I mean, my prices haven't, but like I had to go up in prices.
Well, yeah, because you still got to make X amount of dollars. It's a business. You still got to make X amount of dollars.
Otherwise I'm breaking even, and then why am I doing it?
What's the point?
My dog can't eat then. No one's happy.
What, how did COVID affect your industry?
It shut our industry down. Like every salon was closed. Nobody was essential. And so it was like, I was actually managing a gym and then working at the salon. And like we found out that like, okay, we're on lockdown for at least 2 weeks is what they first said. And
wait, let me stop you real quick. Were you here or were you there?
I was in Illinois.
You were in Illinois at
Yes.
that time.
So I was actually at the gym. I was doing the gym full time and then the salon part time. And managing, they were going to try to keep me on. And it was 2 weeks. So I was just going to deep clean the gym by myself and whatever. But the salons were closed. And I mean, they threatened, it was like bootleg haircuts is what I used to call it. So I would reach out and be like, hey, and then they didn't want me at the gym anymore. So I was like out of work. And they were like, if you are caught like going to do haircuts, we'll take your cosmetology license away. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to make money.
You got the cosmetology police out here or
right.
what?
So I was that person, like I'd have my bag with all my hair stuff and it would be like in my trunk with a blanket over it. Like it was ridiculous.
Chicken.
I know. I still went and did it though. And so I would like ask people like, hey, I don't know how you feel about this. And that almost backfired a few times.
I bet it did.
People were everywhere from one extreme to the other and then in between. So it would be like, if you are comfortable and if you want it, I will come to your house. And then I had a few people be like, no one's allowed in my house. I'm not in any contact with anybody. Then I'd have other people be like, yeah, what do you want for dinner? I'll cook it while you're doing my hair. And I'm like, okay, cool.
You want a beverage on the side too?
Right, exactly.
I can totally see that. I think everybody ran into that at some point where you had some people that just didn't give a shit about it. You had others that were just...
And I mean, the first 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, I'm taking a little break.
Well,
staying home.
The first 2 weeks, right? We didn't know a lot about it. We knew it was something, and the government claimed it was extremely deadly.
Right.
That's what we knew. So it's like, okay, everybody's kind of, let's watch our P's and Q's here.
Freaking out, but not fully.
Everybody just needs to kind of look out for one another
right.
at that point in time.
We're going to make sure we're all good first.
And then once more information started coming out, and it was basically, well, we all know what it is now.
Right.
It's like, okay, let's get everybody back to work. Let's keep this ball rolling. And they want to keep everything shut down, and only people that were working were essential. And it's just like, how about all these? I never thought that. How long was this? Let me ask this question before I continue with my thought. How long was the salon shut down for?
It didn't reopen until, because then I think it went by like counties. I think it was like state, and then like everything was shut down, and unless you were essential. And then I think it was like by counties, I want to say. I feel like I blocked it all out of my memory because it was not a fun time not working. It out. But it was like June they reopened, or the end of June, beginning of July. But I want to say they shut down again for a little while.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's 2.5 or 3 months that you guys were shut down.
It was definitely long enough. And in that moment in time, I was so thankful my ex-husband was considered essential, because I'm like, I would have had to call my dad and be like, oh, I have to move back in. But I don't know what to do. And so, yeah, it was my bootleg haircuts for a solid 2-3 months.
You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Yeah,
and I mean, as far as wedding goes, me and my sister did like, I don't know, I would want to say like 25 to 30 weddings a year, which is quite a bit because just on weekends. And then since then, like, it has decreased so much. Like, we didn't do any that year. And then, or maybe like before, but January and February are not really big on wedding months.
No.
And then the following year, it was still, because everything was like just pushed back so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I knew somebody was supposed to get married that June or whatever.
Right.
And they literally like went to the courthouse.
Well, right. I mean, so many people like pushed it back, and then, but by the time like they could get a new date, because people book weddings 2 years in advance now, and they're like, well, I can't do it. They like canceled my wedding, or they said we can wait 3 years, and they're like, well, we're just going to the courthouse. So like, I'm not paying someone to do my hair.
Just give me my deposit back. Move on with life.
Exactly.
And that sucks for everybody involved.
It does. Yeah.
It just sucked. Because I remember when all that happened, I was considered essential too. And I was like, man, these restaurants are all closed down, and they're doing to-go boxes and things like that.
And just trying to stay afloat.
Just trying to stay in the black.
And I mean, in our little town, the bars would be like, we can do to-go drinks, but you have to seal it. And like, just trying to keep their lights on.
Around here was the same way.
Right.
I definitely had a few to-go drinks.
I'd be like, you guys need haircuts while I stop by?
Yeah.
Get it where you
free
can.
haircut for food.
Right. Yeah, no, that was a tough time in life.
Yeah. Well, now you're back up here. How's things going in your business? Is it going well?
It is. It's really weird because my rent for like my chair rental in Arizona was so, like almost half the amount that I'm paying now, but their prices are higher. And I'm like, so everyone out there thought I was like, undercharging myself. And I'm like, no, like I'm comfortable with that, especially because like my cost is so much less. And then here, like my rent is higher, and I mean, like I said, it's gone up because of the price of everything else going up, but it's always a work in progress. Like I said, it's never going to be consistent, but it's going good.
Good.
And I haven't been back even a full year yet. And so
you're still taking on new clients and new customers and
bring them all my way. Send them all out.
Because you are on Facebook, Instagram.
Once in a while I make little TikToks, which is either my dog or hair stuff. So it's a very exciting life.
And the name you're going with?
Is Beauty by Kayla on Instagram and Facebook. And then it's Bella Me is the name of the salon that I'm at in Elgin.
Bella and Me.
Bella Me.
Oh, Bella Me.
Yes.
Oh, did not know that. Italian. That's funny. This podcast episode is sponsored by Dan's Diesel Performance. If you're looking to improve your truck's performance, efficiency, or appearance, check out Dan's Diesel Performance. They manufacture turbochargers, fuel injectors, fuel pumps, transmissions, intake piping, and much, much more. Plus, they offer all the top brands in the diesel industry. They're located in McChesney Park, Illinois. Visit their website at dansdieselperformance.com or give them a call at 815-977-5865. When somebody comes in, you've probably done every plausible haircut
So I have
ever.
to tell you the story then because this just happened. So it was last Saturday. Well, earlier in the week, people are like, hey, you're super creative. And I'm like, I never like when that's the start of a conversation because it's usually like, what pain in the ass project do you have for me? This like high school kid said, I shaved my head and I want leopard print. And they're like, you're the only one that we think could do that. And I'm like, no idea how to do that. I've never done that before. So he came in Saturday and he did it. And I was like, well, this is as good as I can do. And he was like, love it. And I'm like, okay.
Leopard print.
Yeah. I mean, I have a picture if you really want to see it.
You'll have to send it to me, and then I'll throw it up here just because. Because and then when something like that happens, that actually turned out really good.
Yeah.
Now, how in the hell did you do that?
I used Q-tips.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How long did that take you?
He was there for like an hour and a half.
Is that a long time?
No, I mean, like, I also did like a few days before that. It was like 7 different bright colors in somebody's hair, and that took me like 4 hours. But this, I just, I never did it before, so I'm like,
okay, cool. Let's try.
And yeah, and all the brushes aren't that small, and I'm like, okay.
When somebody wants to do something like that, obviously they got to call you in advance and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing, so you have everything
like
on hand.
All the bright, they call them fashion colors, like the blues and purples and pinks and all that. So I need to know that ahead of time because I don't always have that in stock, and preparation because booking out time.
Yeah.
I mean, it can take me. A color can take me an hour to an hour and a half, but like I said, the girl last week, it took me 4.5 hours.
Oh, geez.
So that was like my entire afternoon, and I'm like,
shot.
Okay,
come on.
done. Yeah.
Is there a specific? That was a question I was going to ask. I'm glad we got onto this. Is there a specific company then that you use to get all your products brought in?
So there's 2 companies in this area that they sell like color and product and tools and all the things for like licensed cosmetologists, and it's Salon Centric or Cosmoprof, and like you have to show like your license and
to buy from them.
Yes, and you get it at cost, which is a perk, but also one thing that's killing our industry is YouTube and like people being like, and COVID, because I had a lot of COVID fixes that I like to call them. When people could come back and they're like, well, I just cut it myself. I watch YouTube. And I'm like, don't do that. There's a reason I went to school. And I know you think it's stupid, but there's a reason. And it was pretty bad. I wish I took like videos and pictures of all like the at-home cuts and colors and be like, this is why you don't do it. But I'm not that person to call somebody out.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody doesn't use the right product, it can ruin your hair too, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and box color like that you can get from the grocery store, like that doesn't come out, or it like can fry your hair, and not knowing again, like that you have to, it can't be lighter, or you can't go lighter with just color always, and just knowing those little things, like you can really.
You can destroy your hair for that. Yeah. Because I didn't know if you could buy products at local grocery store or whatever for your business, or do you mainly just go through those?
Oh no, I do, just because like it's embedded in my brain. Like if it's not professional, like don't put it on your hair. But then I buy makeup from the grocery store, so I mean it's
a give and take a little bit,
right? Like I get it. Like I should be better about certain things where I'm like, I know better. But.
Well, I know like restaurants and bars, they gotta purchase their alcohol through basically one of two companies,
right?
And if you get
either
caught,
a distributor or
and if you get caught with alcohol in hand that you didn't buy from them, it is a huge fine,
exactly,
ginormous, like $10,000.
I guess I don't know if like you'd be fined for it. I've just never met anyone that would want to use like a box color opposed to like a professional one. Yeah, I've never come into that. Yeah, so I don't know.
Like I said, I didn't know if you had to buy from those or else.
I mean, you should be fine because you're going to be charging people the same amount. I know that, but
yes, exactly. But
and I had a friend be like, "Box color works better on me. Will you use it?" And I'm like, "You can do it yourself. I'm not using it. Like, I'm never going to do that." Call it pride or whatever.
But it was a friend.
I'm like, and I'm not fixing it for free after you mess it up.
Oh, true friend you are. No, you're telling her up front, don't do it because you're going to regret it.
It's just like when I would do my mom's hair and I would be highlighting it and getting it blonde, and I'd get right here and she'd be like, I cut my own bangs. And I'm like, yeah, I know you do every time, but like, it's fine. But at least she wasn't putting chemicals on it. She wasn't supposed to. A little cut here and there, that's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't cut my own hair. No way.
Well, my brother has two sisters that both do hair, and he's like, I just do it myself. And I'm like, yeah, I know you missed a spot, but you could call us, but you don't.
The funny thing is I wear a hat like 90% of the time.
Well, that's what he says. I'm like, but not when he's at work, which is every single day. And he's like, hey, you guys live far. I'm like, all right, whatever. I was like, but you know Braden. I'm sure you can imagine him saying that.
I haven't seen him for a while. But shoot, there was one other question that was just popped into my brain, and I forgot what it was now. Oh, if somebody wants, is there somebody in that store, in that salon, that will do nails and skin and all that stuff there?
Not where I'm currently at. Okay. So I've worked at places where they have like a full spa. Correct. Where it's like they can do the facials and the massage and the nails. So it kind of all depends on what the salon is. So where I'm at, the four of us just do hair. The one girl, she does, she's a cosmetologist and she went to barber school. So she's really good at men's cuts. And, she can do all the things that the rest of us can't do and whatever. But, yeah, the four of us just do hair.
Gotcha. I just didn't know if there was...
The only other thing that I think all of us do, like waxing eyebrows and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's not hair related, but...
That's kind of hair related. Eyebrows are hair.
Yeah, I know, but it's like on your face, not on your head.
What's wrong with hair on your face?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's the only other different thing that we do there.
I'm glad you brought that up, too, because there is a difference between cosmetology and barber school.
Yes. So barber school is, I would love to go, but call me cheap or poor, but I don't want to pay for it. And I don't want to just do men's cuts. If that's all I wanted to do, I would totally go back to school. But they can do straight razors, which we can't do. They're precision, like they don't use a guard always. And it's amazing. I've gone and watched barbers just because it's like intriguing to me. And I'm like, wow, I'm really bad at my job when I do men's cuts, which isn't true, but it's just different. But yeah, I can't, like, cosmetologists can't do a straight razor because we're not licensed to do it. We weren't trained in it. I mean, I'm sure there are people that are, but legally you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And I would never feel comfortable unless I had that training because I feel like I would
break
out. I don't want to make anyone bleed and whatever, but yeah. But they don't learn, like, I mean, I think they just learn cutting and specifically for men, and then they don't learn chemicals, so like perms, color, and that.
What
stuff.
you do?
Yes, but their schooling, I want to say, is longer than mine.
Really?
Yeah, because it's so precise.
Oh, us men are complicated
I
creatures,
know,
aren't we?
but like I said, I would love to do it if I had like the time and funds. I would totally go back to school for that.
Well, you never know what the future holds.
Yeah, I mean,
You could
going
win
back
a-
to school sounds terrible.
You
now,
could
though.
win the lottery and just be like,
For a hobby, just learn
Yeah,
how to
just-
straight razor.
yeah.
I mean, I have a ticket in my car, so maybe that's you telling the universe that
I'm just
gonna win
saying.
tonight.
Is it tonight? Powerball
Yeah.
tonight?
Mega.
Megan's
It's
tonight.
tonight.
I don't even know what it's up to anymore.
I never have cash on me because I think it's Monopoly money when I have cash, and I'm like, it doesn't count if I spend it. So when I do, it's like $5, so I'll buy a lottery ticket. I know that's a terrible, but I'm really good about like taking it to the bank right away, so I don't have that thought.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that analogy.
It's girl math. You've heard of that?
Oh, I'm well understand girl math,
Yeah.
but that was funny. I never understood. Yeah, Monopoly money. Oh shoot. Well, I don't have anything else. So
Hopefully, I educated you in the
You educated me.
cosmetology industry.
yes, I've learned something here today that your job's very complicated.
I mean,
Yes.
Yes and no.
Because not only do you have to know chemicals and procedures and all this other stuff, but you also have to deal with feelings.
so many
Yeah,
things.
God.
Well, and then being independent, like you are running your own business because you have to do inventory and you have to do the payment transactions and your taxes and all of that fun stuff.
Thanks,
and
government.
yeah, so there's a little bit more into it, but I appreciate that somebody is like wanting to learn about it because
I didn't know anything about it, and I've seen some of your stuff posted
Yeah.
on, I don't know, Instagram or Facebook, whatever
right,
it
my
was.
super annoying.
And I
post.
was just like, dude, it's just that hair looks awesome. Like, how the hell? And then
you
I
gotta
just
have the vision.
that's why I need to reach out and see if you come talk about it, because I don't care if it intrigues anybody else,
Right.
but it intrigues me.
Well,
so.
yeah, if anything, it was a great conversation that we had. Your other listeners might be like, skip this one.
Yeah,
but
like I don't care about cosmetology and schooling and all that stuff. I'm sure my female listeners probably like that a lot. But
yeah,
anyway, thank you for taking time to come over and
of course.
learn me.
Learned you.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking time and doing that. And who knows? Maybe you get a new customer out of the deal.
Hey, that'd be great. Yeah,
You never know.
Could send them my way.
I will.
Perfect.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you.